Alright, last day of our trip. We're just in Jasper. We're going to head down the Icefields Parkway back to Calgary. This is probably one of the most scenic roads there is in Canada. Jasper sits in the Athabasca River Valley and has a permanent population of just over 4,700. Now Jasper is very busy during the summer months and even in the winter too, as there's lots to see and do in both seasons. There were close to 2.5 million visitors came through the national park in 2020, and many of them are going to be traveling the Icefields Parkway. So be ready for some congestion, some bad drivers, people not paying attention, or just quite frankly, stopping in the middle of the road to look at something. Now despite all that, it is still worth the ride. As you can see, the water flow in 2022 is substantially higher than it was back in 2009. This scenic little beauty is near the Goats and Glaciers Lookout. You don't always have to stop at these places to get all the picturesque views. The Icefields Parkway follows the Athabasca River for some of its length. Now sometimes it runs through narrow gorges giving you the turbulent waters of Athabasca and Sunwapta Falls. Other times, it spreads out across a large valley divided into numerous small rivulets. All of it is breathtaking. You can hike up and around Tangle Creek Falls if you were so inclined. We were not so inclined, so we just took a few pictures. Near Tangle Creek Falls is the Columbia Icefield Skywalk. This is a glass-bottomed walkway that is 280 meters over the Sunwapta Valley. In order to access it, you have to pay a large sum of money and take a bus to get there. I've done it in the past. It was a nice view, but it really wasn't worth the money, so we just skipped it this trip. This highway can get a bit curvy, but it's best to take it at a moderate speed. You're here for the scenery, not for the race. Welcome to the Columbia Icefields. This is the largest ice field in the Canadian Rockies, and it covers about 230 square kilometers with a depth ranging from 100 to 365 meters. This ice field receives an average of 7 meters of snowfall per year. It is draped over the Continental Divide, and the long tongue coming towards us is known as the Athabasca Glacier. There are markers along the valley showing where the leading edge used to be. This glacier is receding at about 10 meters per year. That means that the leading edge of this glacier is about 140 meters further up the valley than when I started the Wright Men Tour of Mayhem back in 2009. Now, for a large sum of money, you can take an ice bus up onto the glacier where they will let you out to roam around for a while, maybe have a snowball fight. Bring lots of money. It is not cheap. This is one of the more famous views along the parkway. You get an elevated view of the parkway running out down this valley for many, many miles. I don't take enough pictures of my brother and I together. I always regretted not getting more pictures of Dad and I together on these trips. Looks like we need to start another tradition when we're on these bike rides. As I stated earlier, you'll get tourists just stopping in the middle of the road to look at things. They also tend to try and cross the highway without even looking. There's going to be a bad accident one of these days. Saskatchewan Crossing is about halfway down the parkway. There's a restaurant and a gift shop, as well as a gas station. Now expect to pay more for everything here. Gas is about 10 to 20 cents a liter more than anywhere else. I wouldn't want to be filling up one of those RVs here. And here's the actual crossing. You may have noticed by now that the lakes are all a milky turquoise color. This is due to rock flour. Glaciers have ground the rock as fine as flour And when this is washed away by water and into these lakes, this rock flour is suspended in the water, and the minerals in these rocks give it this milky turquoise color. Peyto Lake was always one of my dad's favorite spots, and it's not hard to see why. It's a place that refreshes the soul and gives you a feeling of renewal. It's a very popular tourist spot despite the fact that it's about a 15-minute hike from the parking lot. I recommend going after Labor Day when the crowds thin out. Bow Lake is near Bow Summit, which is the high point of the parkway. It's at about 2,100 meters and is the highest elevation crossed by a public road in Canada. That is, unfortunately, the end of the parkway, but there's still so much more to see in Banff National Park. We did, however, bypass Lake Louise, as all the signs on the road said the parking lots were all full. You can park a few miles away in an overflow parking area and catch a bus to the lake. It's a beautiful place, but it's way too congested for me. These wildlife overpasses were built in the late 90s in an effort to reduce the number of animals killed by cars. There are 6 overpasses and 38 underpasses along the Trans-Canada Highway through the park. This has resulted in 80% fewer wildlife collisions. Alright folks, the tribute tour is all wrapped up. Everything went well. No major malfunctions. I definitely need a new couple of fork seals here. This one's leaking pretty bad, but it still got me through the trip. Really good trip. Just a couple little sprinkles of rain. Other than that, it was good weather the whole time. Thanks for watching. This concludes the tribute tour, which is our 14th annual ride. Thanks for following along as my brother and I recreated the start of the Wright Men Tour of Mayhem. Hopefully we can continue to keep this tradition going for many years to come.